Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iori Folarin. Okay, well, in another fortnight, barely in another 2 weeks, Edo State will be celebrating the first year of Governor Okpebholo's administration in office. And upon that occasion, we thought we'd check and find out what's been going on there. Yeah, we still have almost 2 weeks to the actual day, but I'm sure preparations are in high gear. And our guest is Prince Kassim Afegbua, Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Edo State. Good morning, Prince.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. How are you, sir?
Very well. Thank you very much for making time for us this morning. And I imagine, well, first of all, let me ask, how has it been since the beginning, the inception of the Okpebholo administration? And here we are now. Has it been an easy ride? Has it been challenging? Are you optimistic? Tell us, you know, what the administration is feeling now that we're about a year in office.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. Of course, anything that has to do with governance will not come just so easy. There are challenges every day. Your ability to be able to respond to those challenges is what defines you as a leader who is ready to deliver on campaign promises. But I can tell you that what we met on ground shocked a lot of us, and that's why we've been having some teething problems in trying to wriggle out of it, because we thought that Edo was already an El Dorado, as easily marketed by those who presided over the state before now. But coming on board and carrying out quite a number of exercises to unravel the true status of Edo with respect to our economic well-being and management of our collective patrimony, we discovered that there were too much to be desired. So we are gradually moving on. We are steadying the ship of state. We are responding to developmental challenges in the critical sectors of the state. The governor came up with his own agenda of 5 points in the area of security, in the area of health, infrastructure, natural resources, and education, and other social developmental areas. But when we came on board and saw that too much money, too much debts were hanging on the neck of Edo people or Edo government, we now began to wonder where was all of the resources they got before now. But we're not going to continue to lament about the parlor state of the state. We have since moved on, but each time that we try to move on, you see supporters of the previous government, for want of trying to play relevance, we keep raising all kinds of insinuations, commentaries, lamentations, on the pages of social media and what have you. That's not going to distract us. That's not going to deter us from doing what is right. But if need be, at every point in time, if we are confronted with issues that need governmental attention with respect to the previous government, we will do just that, because we are talking about public funds, public finances, and all of that. So once we discover areas where there were underhand dealings, infractions, financial malfeasance, we'll definitely respond to that, using the appropriate channels.
Are such incidents, or at least maybe the way I should put it is suspected incidents, because you're going to investigate and know how far you can go, how much further you can go. Are there so many incidents of them that we're still talking almost a year into office, we're still talking about this? Was it so craftily and cleverly hidden that they weren't immediately obvious, and you sort of stumble on these things as you go along?
Well, it's not. You see, at every point when the previous government was leaving office, they talk so much about e-governance, and so that means paperless government. The government from one end to the other, using the computers and the internet and what have you. And that's where the danger is, because the laws The civil service laws of the state talks about usage of memo, file documentation, data keeping, and what have you. But you have a government that was now doing e-government, and when they were leaving, they didn't give us the password or the codes to unlock all of those platforms.
Oh, dear.
They literally went with the code. So when we now had to seek the services of those who can break the code using a back-end method, we are making an appreciable success of that. And along the line, we now started seeing new discoveries. Even the one we saw under the asset verification exercise, where we raise questions, invite some of these persons. Literally, they've all absconded, run away from Nigeria. They are elsewhere, touring one country to the other in the name of saying thank you to Edo people overseas. Whereas back home, there are legions of several infractions and halitosis that define that particular era. And it calls to question the fact that people must be accountable when it comes to public finances and public governance. Because in order for you to deepen the conversation around government and governance and impact on the well-being of the people, you must be above board in handling finances. Even we now, we have to be conscious of what we do, because the government coming after us will also look into our books.
That's
so
right.
It is not a matter of which hunt. It's not a matter of which hunt. It's a matter that is very desirable for you to know the state of health of a government at every point in time. So we are discovering new things. The governor just wrote a letter last week to the House of Assembly to probe into two legacy projects of the past administration of Governor Obaseki, the Radisson Hotel project, and the Museum of West African Arts project, which the government sank money into, for which we are not getting any value for the kind of resources that the government, put into that.
Okay. Actually, I was going to bring up the Radisson Hotel matter, that the governor had sent a petition to the State House of Assembly, just as you have said. But before then, since you've mentioned it, maybe we'll come back to it. But before then, everybody is looking for how to conserve funds. And in Edo, you people are expanding the cabinet, about 28, commissioners now. What was the logic behind that? Because I think it must be a matter of strategy, and you're the best place to explain that to us.
Well, you see, what is at issue for me is not necessarily the size of government. I've listened to several commentaries and conversations around this. I think the real issue is about how to mitigate incidences of corruption in public office and in public financing. What goes under the drains through corruption, part of which we are addressing now as a consequence of the actions and inactions of the previous government, is the issue of corruption. Financial malfeasance and conquistadorial behavior by those who preside over the collective patrimony of a state. The Edo present cabinet structure, 28 commissioners, fine. It's just to replicate a few things that are happening at the federal level, creating, Ministry of Science, for example, Ministry of Humanitarian Service and Poverty Alleviation, Ministry of Livestock, which is new at the federal, so we have at the state, so that there won't be some kind of conflict or role conflict amongst all the commissioners or the various ministries with respect to the issue-based, area. So for me, when you widen the scope, you are bringing on board credible, result-driven, utility-driven individuals who can help you to advance, your vision. In this case, the SHINE agenda of the Governor Okpebholo government is one that will take, cognizance of security, health, infrastructure, natural resources, and agriculture and education. And to deepen the conversation around security, the governor has created a ministry called Public Security and Safety. It didn't exist before now, but a new commissioner has been appointed, a new ministry created in that respect, so that that individual will be having interface with the security agencies in the state, the police, civil defense, DSS, and what have you, and also create community policing methodologies that will help to address the issues of insecurity across the state, because we inherited a state that was heavily polarized. We inherited a state that, the politics of division was almost like the article of faith. And so in order for them to, reintegrate themselves into the new thinking of a new government, it will take some time. So you have incidences of kidnapping here and there, even when we have invested so much in that aspect. So we are not going to relax and rest on our oars. We are going to ensure that we continue to ensure that the right things are done. The governor has provided quite a number of vehicles for mobility and logistics, even machine, about 400 of them, to places where vehicles cannot access. The poor state of the road that we inherited is another issue. We are fixing them now. Rains are here, but once the rains stop, there will be more haste, more action in ensuring that all of these roads are recovered. Because when the roads are good, the issue of kidnapping will reduce, because oftentimes point of contact with commuters is where the roads are bad. They will stay there when you are slowing down, they come out from the bush and what have you. So there's so much of bush combing being carried out by the Edo Security Corps in collaboration with the military, police, and DSS in what we call Operation Strike Force. And so we will not rest on this. We will continue to sustain this effort, and we will also carry out orientation of minds, telling people the danger in kidnapping. The governor has signed a new law which is more or less like pronouncing death sentence to anyone who is caught in the act, both kidnapping and cultism. The law is there. If they catch you, you are in trouble. Buildings have been demolished when they discover that is where they hide their victims and what have you. So we are doing quite a lot. But, if the state were to be an El Dorado, as those who led before us presented it, it would have been a different scenario. But, Uncle Yori, we make the opposite of what they canvassed before.
Okay. Now. I'm going to come and probe a bit more on this, but in the meanwhile, Boma has called in. Good morning, Boma.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So, like the Honorable Commissioner is speaking, can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
With what Governor Okpebholo has done, his policies in Edo State, if he is a neutral person, not a politician, we want to rate his performance, what will he be rating the governor? And secondly, if you look at what former Governor Adams Oshomole have done for his 8 years in Edo State and his 1 year in office, if he wants to, he himself should be very sincere with himself and to Nigerians and not be political in his speech, and really rate the governor, not because he's benefiting from the governor, to see if the governor is really doing well with a lot of funds he is getting from APC and the removal of subsidy, and him even forcing people to support a presidency not in their will. What will you want to say about that, sir? That's my contribution.
Boma, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for the question. It's just like a repeat of what I've said before now, but we are getting more allocation from federal government since the removal of subsidy, no doubt about that. We have also improved on our internally generated revenue, IGR. We met about 5.5 billion performance with respect to IGR, but we have taken that to about 10 billion monthly now. If you are in Edo, you will see that the governor has commenced quite a number of legacy projects. The flyover project at Ramat Park, it will be completed in April. It's ongoing presently. We have started another one at Adesua Junction. The Sapele Road axis end of the Benin part of it, which had remained almost impassable when we came on board. We are working, every day tirelessly on that road now. There are quite a number of other roads in Uromi, Udomi roads, Uwesan, Ugboha, and quite a number of other roads that I can't remember. We have flagged up the Auchi-Igara Road, which is a major artery around that axis. It's actually a federal government road, but the governor is saying that federal personnel are not the one planning those roads, they are Edo people. So he's working on that. We have recovered quite a number of schools. About 58 to 60 schools have been recovered. They're almost completed, all of them. We are going to be commissioning some of them in this 1 year in office. We supply chairs and tables to all of these schools. We are also paying a lot of money that we inherited as a consequence of projects that were awarded without being paid for. One of them is the Stella Obasanjo Hospital, which the previous governor, commissioned, brought in former President Obasanjo to commission it. And when we got there, we discovered that the project was just about 50% completed, and they were owing about 7.2 billion naira, to the contractor. And the contractor has been crying before now that we should please pay him because he took money from bank, and that his credit facility with the banks is almost out. And so the governor just directed last week. I'm sure the contractor must have been paid now, so that he can complete that project in record time, because that is also affecting the specialist hospital built by Adam Soshomole, for which Governor Obaseki took almost 80% of that land and gave it to a museum, demolished the other part of the hospital, and ceded the whole of that land to the Museum of West African Arts. The governor has now directed that no, they have to stop that expansion and just limit themselves within the scope of what he has given them, so that we can expand that particular hospital and have it as a general hospital, because it was built in 1803. Now it has been demolished. We need to reinvent that so that people can have access to healthcare services.
Okay.
So
I beg your pardon.
The governor has also increased.
Honorable Commissioner,
no, I'm sorry, Uncle Yori. Let me land on this.
Okay, because there's someone else waiting on the line.
The governor has just absorbed 5,000 teachers who were kept as casuals by the previous government. We have absorbed them into the civil service. That will also mean increase in terms of overhead, in terms of salaries and emolument, pensions and what have you. We're also planning to invest more in those aspects of recruitment with teachers. We have also increased Edo civil service recruitment, because essentially 80% of the transactions that took place before now were done by consultants. The civil service was almost killed and almost obliterated from the governance structure. So now we have reinvented that, recruit more hands, fill up vacancies that existed, and that will also increase the overhead and personnel costs. So we are doing quite a number of things.
Okay. Mr. Olushola in Ibadan, thank you very much for holding on. Go ahead now, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Honorable Commissioner for Information, Felix Kassim Afegbua, is somebody I so cherish very well.
Morning.
And I appreciate your sagacity and the way you are very outspoken. But there's something I want to ask.
Thank you very much.
You see, the governance in Edo State now, I want to ask, is it about the people or about an individual? When all the commissioners were being instructed that you just have to put on a signal of somebody before you come for meeting, and even the chairman of the party as well went ahead to say that. So is the governance about the people or about an individual? Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olushola. What is that all about? Maybe you can explain it to us.
Thank you.
Insignia.
Thank you very much for that very beautiful question. You see, first and foremost, before you become a commissioner or an appointee in an APC state, you must be a member of the party. That's a requirement. And being a member of the party, you also have to defer to the structure of the party. And essentially, the president of the country, Tinubu, is the proponent of the Renew Hope agenda, which we have translated to different states of the federation, ruled and governed by APC governors. And we are also taking a cue from the objectives, policy, framework, and agenda captured in the Renew Hope document. And so when you submit yourself to become a commissioner, you also must submit yourself to respect the man who epitomizes or who resonates that particular ideal of being the driver of the APC Renew Hope agenda. So when the governor said you have to put on the cap that reflects the leader of the party, that's President Ahmed Tinubu, is not for you to have a buy-in into the policies and programs of the president, and particularly now that he's doing so much for the state governors since the removal of fuel subsidy, the kind of resources going to the states now different from what we used to be. It's also helping the states, to deepen conversation around governance. So when they said you'll be suspended, these are just simple issues of understanding amongst those who are appointed and the principal who is appointing them, the appointing authority. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be detained within that framework of, say, you must wear the wearing the cap or wearing it does not add or remove anything. It's just to show understanding, to show support, to show solidarity. Because ab initio, if there was no APC government, there will be commissioners. There won't be governor. So the governor, ran on the platform of APC. He has to defer to that party, whether you like it or not. Governance in Nigeria is defined within the democratic structure of political parties. There is no room for independent candidacy and all of that. So once you subscribe to the vision of a party and all of that, you just follow it through. Wearing cap or not wearing cap does not subtract from whatever you want to do as a government. It hasn't stopped us from building roads. It hasn't stopped us from building schools, hospitals, primary health care, and all of that.
But I think the viewer was suggesting that it was giving the impression that you might not be viewed too favorably and therefore not be as successful if for any reason you decide that, well, exercising my own fundamental human right, I choose not to wear this insignia today. And it doesn't, as you've said, affect my loyalty.
You can do your fundamental human rights at home and turn down the appointments.
You will be expected to show.
You can do your fundamental human rights.
You must stand up to the counted.
Where one right stops, another person's right begins. If this is a way to build a collegiate system that helps you to drive your vision, well and good. I don't have problem with that.
All right. Let me quickly bring on Mr. George. He's been waiting for quite a while.
I'll be proud to wear the Tinubu cap.
Okay. Mr. George, thank you very much for your patience. Yes. Please go ahead now.
Thank you, Uncle Yari, and good morning to Prince Afegbua. First of all, let me say congratulations to Prince Afegbua for his appointment. I will call it a round peg in a round hole. He has been there before, and he's been doing it very well. Please continue to do it. Something is always telling me, Uncle Yori, that Prince Afegbua will be the next governor of the state after Okpebholo. I hope that comes true.
Amen. Let me say amen to that. But we need to face the challenges now.
In a party, or if you are in a government, that government is a product of the ruling party. You want to serve in that government. And the insignia of the leader of that party, if you don't identify with it, then what are you going to identify with? Will you be a pretender or a saboteur who is pretending to be serving? If you want to do something, you should do it well. Why should I want to associate with you and pretend that I am not with you? Or I am reticent about identifying with your ideology and your insignia. It doesn't make sense to me. That one shouldn't be an issue at all. What is worth doing at all is worth doing well. So anybody that is reluctant to do it, that is the first indication that you don't actually identify with the cause of the project. So you should get out. I don't see that one as an issue. Yes, Uncle Yori. I want to ask Prince Afegbua. One of my relatives told me last week that the road project to between Benin and Auchi, especially that Epoma portion of it, that the road is still in that state. I said, but last when I visited last, this was about March, what was still going on there? They said they are not yet using the road. So I want to find out from Prince Afegbua, what is the position of that road now?
All right. Okay, thank you, Mr. George.
Well, just quickly, once the rains are here, since it's been raining, Edo State is a peculiar state. Almost every day it's been rain, and there's hardly anything you can do. But we have gone about 70% completion of those portions you mentioned. And they are using cement casting, and that will also require a huge amount of sunshine for you to dry up all of those castings. So they've done the stone base very strongly before they will cast part of it or all of it in cement. When I say 70%, it's because there are portions of that road that have been recovered completely. But there are other portions that have not been done. So we don't want to open that road so that to allow the contractors opportunity to finish it once dry season sets in. So from this November, we hope that the rains will cease. So we'll be able to complete it. Within a month, it will be completed because so much work has gone into that. If the person goes there, let him take pictures of that place. You will see that work is ongoing. But once it rains, there's hardly anything you can do. The same thing happens in Sapele Benin Road, that particularly the Benin axis of it, leading from the Ring Road down to the Sapele Junction, Warri Junction. You will discover that before now it was abandoned, the mounted signpost, sorry, Edo people, this road belongs to federal government, there's nothing we can do. But now that Edo is now APC stage, we have recovered that particular road, and it is part of it that we're even building the flyover at Adesuwa Junction. So every day if you go to that road, you see work is ongoing. And the governor has given a directive that if the contractors are not delivering as at when due, based on their earlier promise, that he will terminate their contract.
Okay.
So we are doing quite a number of roads. Even the Igara Auchi Aziz, the same thing. It's just because of the rains. Once the rain ceases, they will continue the road. And in Uromi Aziz, when you go to Uromi, the second largest settlement after Benin City and all of that, you will be shocked at what you will see. The rot that we inherited was something else. But I went personally on an inspection of those areas, and I've seen the quality of road that is being done there. And once the dry season sets in, we'll continue that roads and we'll open all of those areas.
Okay,
so
Prince, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've got to go off on a break now. I've actually got to take a short break now. Thank you very much, Prince. We'll be right back. We'll continue this conversation, information and strategy in Edo State in another couple of weeks, even before. We'll be in it will be the first year of the Monday Okpebholo administration, and we've been looking at how the journey has been so far. Okay, so far so good. There are a number of issues that I wanted to bring up. The governor has been quite, expansive. Is that the word? But before I go there, Maazi Okorafor has been waiting all through the break. Good morning, Maazi, and thank you for holding on, sir. Maazi, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we haven't lost him. Maazi Okorafor? No. Okay. So it does look as if we might have lost Maazi. I'm so sorry about that, Maazi. See if you can get back in again. We'll be sure to take your call. Okay, I was going to say that the governor has been quite vocal about what he inherited from the previous administration. But in the light of some of the things that you've been saying, are we to understand that the government of Edo State is actually in a, what is the word now? Sort of desperate straits because when you came into office, you thought it was good and you have found something else. Maybe explain that whole area between the expectations and actuality.
Well, thank you very much, Uncle Yori, and our viewers back home. You see, yesterday I read a press statement from the opposition, one faction of the opposition PDP in the state, saying that we were building flyovers, that what the state needs now is not building flyover, is recovering the roads in GRA aspect of Edo State. And I just laughed. I said, this is a government that barely left office 11 months ago. Oh, so they didn't see those roads before, the bad roads in GRA for them to fix? They are now pointing our attention to it because we are trying to do flyover? So that is to tell you the level of hypocrisy and level of contradiction of a government that prided itself as so much of a performing government. But when we came in, they said the chicken has come home to roost. We saw the underbelly, the rotten underbelly of the Edo economy. Now, we are not going to detain ourselves in lamentations. That's why we are doing things head on in the critical sectors of the Edo economy. Even the bad roads they are talking about, the GRA and all that, they know that the entire GRA has no drains, no side drains, no underground drains. And the governor has given that opportunity to a firm to carry out a feasibility study on how to recover the entire roads of the huge expanse of the GRA in Benin, so that we can channel that water into Ogba River and be able to fix the roads. Because if you fix the roads as they are now, you are just going to be pouring what I would like pouring water on salt to melt away. So we need to recover, do a feasibility study, which they are already doing. They are studying all of that. And once dry season sets in, it's going to award that particular contract to ensure that we're able to recover the entire road network of GRA. That is just to tell you that these people who are criticizing are not good thinkers. If they were good thinkers, they will know that they presided over the state for 8 good years. They got 1.6 trillion naira, according to them, almost 1.7 trillion in that period. And we couldn't lay our hands on credible legacy projects. The ones they did right, we will commend them. The one they didn't do right, it is our duty to raise concerns, because when you are telling the public lies and you are fabricating all kinds of orchestrations, in the name of plain politics of run him down, we will just rather unveil you, unravel you, expose you, so that the public will see. It doesn't stop us from delivering on our own mandate. Our mandate is on. We are working on security in the states. We bought vehicles. They never bought one vehicle before. We bought almost 60 horses, gave to security apparatus. We've given allowances. We have increased the security vote to the different security agencies in the state. We bought about 400 plus motorbikes that to help people to go to areas where they are doing things. And we have even recruited 2,500 Edo Security Corps personnel trained by the military. So as to deepen community policing across the different areas, particularly the ungoverned areas. So when you have a government who is responding to the developmental challenges it inherited, we expected that people will carry out constructive criticism, not destructive criticism in the name of trying to promote, the failed promises of an Obaseki administration.
I get you.
Say that's
let me not lose.
I beg your pardon, sir. To be able to recover the present and build a future that is going to be enduring for our people.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just wanted you to land, and that is by way of giving Chidi the reason why I haven't put him on. Chidi is in Kafanchan and has been holding on for the past a few minutes. Thank you very much for that. Please go ahead now, Chidi.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my friend, Mr. Kassim Afegbua, for coming to the program. While we are preparing to congratulate the incumbent governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, on his 4th year anniversary, it is important that through you, Kassim, you who is not a newcomer in the art of governance, since the Babangida days, I would wish that you will use your very good idea of governance to inculcate in the administration of the present government so that there is something that they are going to do differently in order to give the Edolites a sense of human being, a sense of understanding, and a sense of feeling the true dividends of democracy, where they will have their right to choose and their right also to live. The entire citizens of the state should have every reason to celebrate the coming on board of Senator Monday Okpebholo.
All right, then. Thank you very much. And once again, sorry for keeping you waiting. We appreciate it. Prince, before you come on, there's something, well, you're actually on. I meant that before you comment. I didn't want to, agriculture. I didn't want to lose track of agriculture. In fact, well, I have a report here where Senator Monday Okpebholo, His Excellency the Governor of Edo State, has been something of a hands-on kind of a man. So let me just play this short clip, and then we can come back and continue with the program.
February this year, Governor Monday Okpebholo launched the Back to Farm initiative, aligned with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda to ensure food security across the nation. Months after the initiative was launched, the governor and his team arrived at Udomi Farm, a project site where cultivation kicked off in June. Walking through rows of thriving maize crops, Governor Okpebholo described the farm as living proof of his administration's commitment to transforming birds into visible resorts.
And a practical governance. That is what you are saying. We don't just talk. We do it for you to see. This is the farm.
Leading the tour, the Director of Agricultural Service in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Oserobo David, revealed that the maize cultivated on the 400 acres site has reached the harvesting stage, yielding between 6 to 7 tons per hectare.
Content, and so we can start harvesting. At least we can add dry from our shelves or using our dryers, take it to 15, and then the off-taker can come. Here we are looking at about per hectare between say 6 to 7 tons per hectare now. That's what we are looking at. Yeah.
Governor Okpebholo says this is only the beginning of a renewed agricultural journey. Valentine Osumbo, TVC News, Udomi.
Okay, now that is from our recent archive, as you know. I wanted to ask if the gusto of the project, all the enthusiasm, if it has been sustained, and how is that initiative of the governor, how is it holding up now?
Well, thank you, Uncle Yori. It is just one of several interventions we are putting into the area of agriculture. We needed to showcase in practical terms that it is possible for government to engage in certain businesses, set examples for others to follow, and also help to absorb, people to work in those areas, those farms, and the benefits to also accrue to the state. The Udomi farms is just one of several others. We have other rice plantation farms in other parts of the state. A commissioner for agriculture has just been appointed to also leverage on the opportunities that exist in that sector. It's 400 acres, like you had, and the maize are ripe now for harvest. The governor went there, saw for himself. We have people who are already waiting to collect the grains, as off-takers, to pursue their different raw materials or different production of different items that has to do with maize. And I listened just about 4 days ago to one of our critics saying that government has no business in business. And I said, no, government has business in farming. Because you need to show example. The same person who said that we don't have business in business, well, during their time, they also boasted about cassava plantation, which we never saw anyway, that everywhere in the state is cassava plantation. We never saw that. But this one, we are seeing the maize. They also did what they call sub-farms before now, And when we went to survey farms, we saw a large expanse of land that was largely abandoned. There was nothing to write home about. So this one is a practical case of confirming that if you really want to do something, government really want to do something, they can do it. And if you are harvesting maize in 400 acres of land, you can imagine the tonnage you are going to get.
Indeed.
And the kind of resources that will come to us. We are encouraging private spirited individuals to come to us.
Prince, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Prince. But Reverend Dominic has also been waiting to join the program. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Justice.
Okay.
Good morning to my friend
Prince.
My good
Kassim Afegbua.
Kassim is a good friend of mine,
morning,
even though we don't agree most of the time. And I want to join George on his own sentiment to say amen to that prayer of George. That one day, this my friend will be the governor of Edo, so I can enter state house anyway and easily. So I'm expecting that the next governor after maybe 8 years will be you. So we have at least in the office.
You people should let the honorable commissioner do his work. The campaign season is over.
Yes, we're trying to look up tomorrow. Somebody made a call that since 1980 from Babangida, you have been a call of power.
Yes.
It's time for you to be an administrator, so let's see what you can do.
Okay.
But I want to respectfully talk to my friend that if you listen to the last government, which is what they call Edo Best, I'm a pastor. I came into Benin a few weeks ago. When I came there, there's a disappointment to me in my heart that the government has been here for 8 years, and now another government has come. All I'm trying to say, sir, let us stop more of propaganda and do the work on the ground. Ruben Abati, one of our friends, said that in Nigeria here, governors at times look at witchcraft. You say nothing, you get at nothing. When we have the policy of Edo Best, nobody will ever imagine that you still go to Edo and see primary school that has no chair, that has no roof. But the Edo Best was everywhere in the television. They pay more money in media. I think I don't like it in Nigerian governance. You pay more money in media than put it down and let your work speak for you. As my friend is there now as a commissioner, he's an expert. I know he can paint this government white, but please, let us see a practical thing on the ground.
All right.
Edo has gone many regions that if you walk into today, it's our ancient city. You want to say the ancient city that's beautiful. But it's not. But there was a job best. This is what I'm trying to say. Let them work and let's see what they're doing for a difference. Because this is our party. If this is my party, I've been happy to people. I don't have apology to anybody. Last time, Chief, I made a comment about Imo State. Somebody wants to eat me raw. I saw your television. Yes, I saw your television 2 weeks ago. That the park was taking in Olo, where my governor come from, and there's no road there. You were saying that you have to do well, like all our friends, George and other people. We're trying for you to promote our party. If you do well, people will vote us in. So I think, well, please, I beg you, do more of the work and not less of the talk. God bless you.
Thank you, Reverend Dominic.
Thank you, Reverend Dominic. I'm so happy that you touched on the subject that is very fundamental, very key to one of our developmental agenda, which is the aspect of education. And the Edo Best he mentioned was one of the sore tongue of the previous government. Because when you hear the razzmatazz, that followed the Edo Best, we were thinking that all the schools in Edo will have been, captured on the top-notch level. But for God's sake, Uncle Yori, when we did our introspection and investigation into that, the fraud that we uncovered was nothing to write home about.
Fraud?
You see, the Edo Best project, so let me make this point, please. The Edo Best project, it was a good concept in itself. But the infrastructure to drive such was nothing to write home about because the schools were decayed, dilapidated structure and all that. And they recruited a consultant, I wouldn't want to mention his name here, who they were paid 160 million every month in the name of buying tablets and writing similar lesson notes. Are you in the brain of the teachers to be able to know that when you have a good lesson note, you can actually teach students? No. Then the infrastructure to drive, we ask the consultant, when you come to a school with this kind of dilapidation, how do you teach? How do you do that? He said they will normally assemble all the classes in 1 or 2 classrooms that are good. Then every teacher will be taking turn to go and be teaching them. And that is what in contemporary times that the previous government will say that's Edo best. It was Edo worst, to capture it in very succinct terms. But again, the World Bank, World Bank sent money to us, Edo State, under the previous government. They captured it as 65 million, but we have discovered it is actually $75 million. Only $5 million was captured in the books. The remaining $60 million, we couldn't find where the thing vanished into. So when you are doing projects and policies and you are setting up business, please, just like Dominic said, less of propaganda. Do the job, let the job speak for you. And that is what Governor Okpebholo is doing right now. When you fix a school, you put chairs and table, you put markboard and all of that. People will see with their eyes. They don't need to be told. We are not doing media razzmatazz. Since I came on board, this is my first national outing to speak to the media. And because we've been trying to look at what we are doing and how to even deepen more of that. That's why even on November 12th, we are doing a colloquium to interact and dissect the challenges. We call them issues and perspectives about governance in Edo State, the challenges we are facing, how to midwife them, how to go around them. The governor has been recovering quite a number of things. The Edo line that was completely paralyzed and castrated is bubbling now with about 100 vehicles that he bought, buses he bought across the country. You see them on the way, they are carrying passengers, and that is a government that wants to work and restore the lost glory of Edo State. Okay. And so when people talk about government, they should please, particularly the previous government, they should stop telling lies to Edo people. We are very enlightened people home and abroad. We are very, mobilized. We are very conscientized people. We can see things. An average Edo woman that is selling bole along the road can speak pidgin and ask you questions. The markets were burnt in the previous government. They didn't fix them. It is now we are fixing them. The one in Ekpoma we are fixing. The one in Obamaka we are fixing. The one in Jatu we are fixing. Okay. So this is more or less like an interventionist government, and we will continue to sustain that as much as we have resources to do all the needful. Okay. I'm sure I shouldn't say I'm sure, but we probably will have a chance to speak a bit more before the actual 12th of November day itself. But I don't think I can go without asking you about the so-called fight between 2 former deputy governors in Edo State. Briefly, we must go now. What's that all about? Well, the former deputy governor, Philip Shoaibu, attended the meeting of the Forum of Former Deputy Governors in Abuja. And I understood that the one I will call Obaseki's deputy governor, who served through the remaining time when he forcefully, took out Philip Shoaibu, also attended. And in the process, I think they said he contested for one of the positions, either ex officio or what have you, and he was so elected. So Philip Shoaibu had to raise serious objections to that because their case is still in court, no doubt. Okay. But the verdict of the court as of today, the Federal High Court quashed Philip Shoaibu's impeachment and returned him as deputy governor. But of course, the previous governor never allowed that to come to fruition. It is one of several abuses when it comes to rule of law and court processes. So
I get that.
He denied him.
They were raised voices. We're running out of time.
The other person went into appeal, and the appeal is still on. It has not even been listed for hearing. So as far as the verdict of Edo State is concerned today, judging by that particular Federal High Court validation of Philip Shoaibu, I think he was the deputy governor of the state and not the other person. And it is the reason why
I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it here.
The other man should return all of those items with him.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Prince Kassim Afegbua, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy. There's a whole lot.
Uncle Yori, please come to Edo November 12. I'm giving you a blanket invitation so that we'll take you around some of our project sites.
Okay.
You can see for yourself.
I'm going to take it on.
This will not be an issue of propaganda like the previous government used to do. Please.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your coming on our program this morning. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but do please join us tomorrow